All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Sunset Yoga. So we can start off by finding a comfortable seated position on our mats. You can sit on the edge of a block, on the edge of a blanket, pillow, whatever feels good for you in this moment. If that calls to laying down, that's perfectly fine as well. So just finding a comfortable seated position wherever you are, adding some length into the spine. So trying to sit tall with the spine, reaching up towards the sky, or if you're on the mat, just simply trying to imagine lengthening the spine on the mat. Closing the eyes or keeping a soft gaze in front of you. Also, feel free to start your Spotify playlist. So I posted it in the chat box. Feel free to start that when we get our practice started, and then come back to your mat. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And just taking this moment to focus on the present. And in the present, noticing our breath. Noticing the expansion of our chest. Noticing the movement of our navel. Noticing the incoming of the next breath to restart the new cycle. Imagining that we are following our inhale all the way through our body and following it as it transforms into our exhale. And along with the breath, noticing what sensations are present in our body. And take this moment to focus on just one sensation. Traveling to a certain area in our body. And really giving awareness and attention to this sensation. And in this process, we're not judging or labeling this sensation as good or bad, right or wrong. We're simply just observing, just noticing. Holding space for that sensation without becoming attached to what it necessarily needs to mean. And now take this moment to focus on another sensation that is felt in the body. Once again, not judging or labeling the sensation as good or bad, right or wrong, simply just noticing what it feels like. There doesn't need to be any meaning to what this feels like. We can simply just acknowledge that feeling. So the intention for our class today, as I give my reading in the beginning of class, is to value your passion. For too long, we have wrongly judged our passion for living, our vitality and zest for places, people, things, and ideas. I shouldn't have what I want. I shouldn't say what I like. I shouldn't get too excited. What helps us come to life? What takes us out of the moments, the motions, and into our emotions? What connects us to the energy of life, the energy of love, the energy of the life force that permeates us all? All your growth, all your work has not been to lead you away from your passions, to turn you into a robot. It has been to bring you back to life, to put you in touch with the vital energy of the universe, an energy that permeates all that is, an energy that permeates you. Honor your passion by honoring your emotions. Feeling your emotions releases passion into life. Feel them all, then you will know what you like, what instills passion in you. Once you know and can recognize that, you'll know which direction to go. So take a moment to bring awareness to our response to what was just read. Noticing how your body responded to that, noticing how your mind responded to that, perhaps even noticing how your breath responded to that. What brings you passion in your life? It doesn't need to be something tangible. It doesn't need to be even something living or someone living. It could just be a simple, fleeting moment in a day when you see the sun, or when you see a flower, or when you see a puppy, or if you have a puppy. It could be really anything. It could just be a feeling, that feeling of satisfaction after a nice cup of tea or a nice cup of coffee. So I want us all just to take a moment right now to think of one thing, at least one thing right now, that brings us joy, that we feel passionate about. And I want us to honor this feeling that arises from this thought, and not just the feeling, but also how our body responds to this. Noticing if our body feels more open, if our body feels more free, if we feel like there's more space. And it's okay if we don't feel like that. It's okay if the body feels clenched, if the body feels tight. Sometimes we can also fall into guilt for having passion or for feeling passion. So see if we can open up space today and actually honor and value the passion that we have in life, especially in current times when there's a lot that can be taken from us that perhaps once may have brought us passion. But perhaps we're learning now more than ever that our passion doesn't even need to lie in a lot of external things that we once thought. So something just to ponder as we move through our practice. How can we cultivate passion, not only on the mat, but outside of the mat in our everyday lives? At this time, if there's any other intention that you'd like to set for your practice, now is the time to do so, honoring that intention, repeating it to yourself, reminding ourselves of why we are on our yoga mats right now, what brought us to our yoga practice this evening. And perhaps we can find a way to cultivate passion on and off the mat today. With that being said, gently roll the shoulders up to the ears and roll them back. Roll them again up to the ears and back. We'll gently open the eyes, coming up off of our mats, coming onto our hands and our knees. Just getting ready for a few quick rounds of cat and cow. Just simply coming onto cat and cow with your own breath. You can start off with cow, you can start off with cat, but just simply move with your own breath, really alternating the movement of the spine, the movement of the hips, and adding on to your cat and cow in any way that feels good to you in this moment. How can you add some passion right now in this moment? How can you cultivate joy in this moment right now? And if there's nothing that comes to mind when we think about cultivating passion, we can take a step back even more and just allow ourselves to honor our emotions and honor what is coming up for us right now. After all, that is what leads to passion, is our ability to honor our emotions. So moving through our cat and cow, if it feels good to you, you can gaze back at your heels, getting a nice lateral stretch in the spine. You can move your hips in circles. For some of you, it may feel good to flip the wrist, facing the fingertips towards you. Just doing what feels good in the body right now. And honoring what comes up. It's okay if it's not passion. It's okay if it's not joy. It's okay if we're not feeling any of those things right now. That's totally okay, as long as we allow ourselves to feel what comes up. Gently finish up doing your cat and cow. We'll all come back into a neutral tabletop position. On this next breath, we're just going to do a little bit of shoulder opening here. So come into your neutral tabletop position. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. Your knees are hips width apart. Keep your left hand where your left hand is. Float that right arm up to the sky. So you're going to float that right arm up, opening up the heart towards the sky, even gazing up at that right arm. And gently bring that right arm through and behind that left hand. So you're threading that right arm through, bringing your right ear down to the mat. So you'll feel this a little bit into the shoulders, and that's okay. Your right ear is on the mat. Keep the hips lifted. For some of you, if you want to move further here, you can float that left arm up to the sky, and you can place that left hand on the sacrum. Breathing here, keeping that breath moving. And on the next breath, float that left arm back to the sky if it was tucked in. Gently bring that left hand back to the mat. Float that right hand back up to the sky. That feels really good in the heart, the chest space. That right arm up to the sky, and bring that right arm back down. Coming back into your neutral tabletop position, shoulders are over the wrists, the knees are hips width apart. This time, keep your right hand planted on the mat. Float that left arm up to the sky, gazing up at that left arm, opening up the heart to the sky. And this time we'll thread that left arm through and behind that right hand, bringing that left shoulder down to the mat, that left ear down to the mat. Keep the hips lifted. I keep wanting to say lips lifted, but hips lifted. And then float that right arm up to the sky for some of you that want to do a little bit more shoulder opening and heart opening. So we're in a little bit of we can make this as much of a heart opener as we want if we just kind of bring that right shoulder back a tiny smidge, but please honor your body, honor your emotions that come up. Breathing here. On the next breath, if the right arm was on the sacrum, float that right arm back up to the sky. Place that right hand back down on the mat. And release that left hand back up to the sky, opening up the heart. And then bring the left hand back down. Breathing here. Coming back into your neutral tabletop position. On the next breath, as we start activating our inner fire, that yang part of the practice, tuck the toes, lift the knees 1 inch off of the mat. So engaging that core, hug the belly up into the spine. Breathing here for 10. 9, keep that gaze down, crown of the head reaching in front of you. 7, 6, keep that breath moving. 5, push away from the mat. 4, lower the knees 1/2 inch. 3, 2, 1, great job. Lift those hips high to the sky, coming into your first downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Ooh, got my Sanskrit twisted there for a moment. Breathing here, the hands are shoulders width apart. The feet are hips width apart. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Spread those fingers wide and really root down into the inner corners of both of your hands. Cuddle the feet. So take turns bending one knee at a time. And it's okay if our heels don't reach down to the mat. That's not the goal. In fact, I just had this conversation earlier where yoga is not, there's no destination in yoga. Similar to, there's not really a destination in life, right? Life is just one long journey. That's how the yoga practice is as well. The yoga practice is just one long journey. We don't need to get anywhere. In fact, there is nowhere to get because as soon as you think you get there, you have more to learn. That's the beauty of yoga. We're all always students. I'm as much of a student as anybody. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Relax that neck, not the head, yes. Shake the head, no. Look to the front of your mat. Separate, jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Hands on shins, the crown of the head reaching in front of you. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to standing. Meeting the palms at the sky, Urdhva Hastasana, gaze up. Palms down at the heart and to the side. All right, time to start our Surya Namaskar A, or sun salutations A. Bring the feet together at the top of the mat. The heels are slightly apart. Standing tall in Tadasana, mountain pose, palms to the side. Inhale as we sweep the arms up to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale as you bend both knees, plant both hands outside both feet. Bring the left foot back. Switching it up a little bit today. We're gonna add a little bit more heat here. Stay here in this lunge. Just slowly rise up in this lunge. Bring the arms back behind of you, kind of like they're airplane wings. Keep that right knee over that right ankle. Lift that left knee. If it really hurts, feel free to bring that left knee down. Breathing here, engage that core, hugging the belly to the spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. Listen carefully. Bring both hands down around that right foot. Bring that right foot back to meet that left foot. You're in a high plank now. Your arms are shoulders width apart. You're on the balls of your feet. Keep the gaze down, the crown of the head reaching in front of you. Lift those kneecaps up. Breathing here, hugging that belly to the spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go back downward dog. Great job. Feeling that yang energy, that heat that's building in the body. Keeping that breath moving. For those of you who practice Ujjayi breath, a great time to practice that Ujjayi breath. Bringing that breath in through the back of the throat. Inhale and exhaling through the nose. It sounds like an ocean, or for some of you, it may sound like Darth Vader. That's okay if it sounds like Darth Vader. It probably is way cooler than an ocean. So whatever works for you, an Ujjayi breath. Bringing that long breath down the back of the throat. Look to the front of your mat. Separate, jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to standing, Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up at the palms. Palms down at the heart and to the side. And again, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend both knees, plant both hands outside both feet. This time, bring your right foot back. Coming into a lunge. Keep that right knee lifted and gently rise up. High lunge, other side. Bring the arms back behind you like airplane arms, the palms facing down. Bring that left knee over that left ankle and lift that right kneecap up. If it hurts you too much to have that right knee up, feel free to bring that right knee down. Engaging our core here, hugging the belly to the spine. Breathing here for 5, 4, how can you cultivate passion right now in this moment? 3, even if you're like, Nina, you totally suck right now, why are you making us do this? How can you cultivate passion right now? Breathing here. 2, 1. On the next breath, bring both hands down around that left foot. Use your core. Bring that left foot back to meet that right foot, coming back into a high plank. Fingers spread wide, kneecaps lifted, engage that core. Keeping the gaze down. Breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Listen carefully. Lower all the way down. Lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Keep the feet hips width apart, the top of the toes down on the mat. Slide your hands about 6 to 8 inches in front of you. And lift the elbows up, inhaling up, baby cobra. Squeeze the elbows in towards the midline, breathing here, getting a stretch in our back. And exhale as we come back down. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Squeeze those elbows in. Tuck those toes, lift those knees up. We're getting ready to push up into a high plank. Counting down from 3, 2, 1. Push up, high plank. Go straight back, downward dog. Breathing here. Taking a few deep breaths here. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Nodding the head yes. Shaking the head no. Look to the front of your mat. Step or jump your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to standing Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up at the palms. Palms down at the heart. And to the side. And again, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze up. Exhale, forward fold Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bend both knees, plant both hands. Bring your left foot back. Bring your right foot back. Coming into a high plank. Option to come down into cobra that we just did, or shift forward into chaturanga for those of you that want to do a full vinyasa. Inhaling wherever you are, heart open, cobra or upward dog, and exhaling back into a downward dog. Breathing here. And bring the knees down, coming into child's pose, taking a moment of rest, bringing the forehead down to the mat, knowing that pause is really important. We can be as strong as ever. We can do all the right exercises, all the right yoga poses, all the right everything, but if we don't rest, if we don't pause, nothing's really happening underneath the surface. So pausing is equally as important as the building. And just reminding yourself right now in this moment, what is one thing that you feel passionate about? And there's no need to feel guilty for feeling passionate about what it is that you feel passionate about. If you're finding a hard time to cultivate that feeling right now in this moment, perhaps just honoring what feelings are coming up right now. After all, that is the path towards passion. It's just to allow yourself to honor what comes up. On the next breath, gently rise back up into a downward dog. Breathing here. On the next breath, float that right leg up to the sky, long three-legged dog. Open up that right hip by bending that right leg. And center that right leg back up to the sky. Listen carefully, shift forward, bringing your right knee to your nose. Squeezing that core, hugging the belly up to the spine. Breathing here, float that right leg up to the sky. Once again, shift forward, bringing your knee to your nose. Tap your left elbow. Tap your right elbow. Tap your left. Tap your right. Float that right leg back up to the sky. Shift forward, bringing your right knee forward and bringing that right foot down in between both of your hands. Also bring your left knee down. So you're in a low lunge. Breathing here. And just gently rise up. So we don't want it, so we're not going to do crescent moon here. We're going to actually have our right knee directly over our right ankle. So we want our right knee to be at a 90-degree angle to our ankle. So breathing here. Float the left arm up to frame the left ear. And bring your left elbow over your right leg. So you're coming into a spinal twist here. So a couple options for you with hands. Some people like to do prayer pose. Some people like to make a fist with their right hand and then clasp that with the left hand. Whatever feels good for you. For some of you, you may want to split the arms. So wherever you are, find the positioning. And let's try to not fall our belly onto our right thigh. So you don't want to collapse onto our right thigh. Use your left elbow to gently open up the heart more towards the sky. So really getting that spinal twist. So it's perfectly okay to stay here wherever you are. For some of you, you may want to extend this by tucking the left toes, lifting that left knee up. So wherever you are, looking over that right elbow, coming to the spinal twist, breathing here. Very important to keep the breath going. Keep that breath. If your left leg is lifted, lift that left kneecap up. Really activating both legs wherever you are. One more deep breath here. And if your left leg is lifted, lower that left leg back down to the ground. We'll all unwind, bringing our hands back over that right foot. On the next breath, sit back, extend out that right leg, coming into Ardha Hanumanasana. So you want to flex that right foot. See if you can bring your left hip back. You'll feel this in the back of your right leg. So tuck your left hip back like you're squaring your hips, flexing that right foot. For some of you, you may be able to even bow forward. But please honor your body, not causing any pain, not causing any strain right now as well. Just honoring where your body is in this moment. Letting the head hang if you are bowing over. On the next breath, bring your right foot back down onto the mat. Bring that right knee over that right leg. Plant both hands outside of that right foot. Tuck the left toes. Lift the left knee up. You're in a low lunge. Use your core to bring your right foot back to meet your left foot. An option to vinyasa or go straight back into downward dog. Listening to your body, listening to what you need from your practice right now. When you're in your downward dog, bring the shoulders away from the ears. Nod the head yes. Shake the head no. On the next breath, float that left leg up to the sky. Long three-legged dog. Shift forward, bringing your left knee to your nose. Squeeze that core, hugging the belly up to the spine. Breathing here and float that left leg back up to the sky. Shift forward, bring your left knee to your nose. Tap your right elbow. Tap your left. Tap your right. Tap your left. Float that left leg up to the sky. Shift forward, bring your right knee forward, your left foot forward, coming onto the mat. So you're in a low lunge. Your left foot is on the mat. You're on the ball of your right foot. And gently bring your right knee down. And sit up. So we want our left knee to be directly over our left ankle, not past it, not behind it. So we want to have a 90-degree angle. Left knee over that left ankle, breathing here. Float your right arm to frame your right ear. Bring that right elbow over your left leg, coming into a spinal twist the other side. So try to match what you did on the other side or try something new. If you did prayer, try putting one hand in a fist. If you did your hand in a fist, try doing prayer. If you split your arms, feel free to continue splitting your arms. But once again, we're trying to avoid collapsing our belly onto our left thigh. We're going to use that right elbow to very gently, not in a forceful way, Open up the heart towards the sky, bringing us into a spinal twist. For those of you who want to go into the extended version, you'll tuck your right toes and lift that right knee up. Finding that balance, looking over that left elbow, breathing here. If your right knee is lifted, keep that right knee high. It's easy for that right leg to fall down, keeping both legs activated and strong. Breathing here for one more deep breath. And if your right knee is lifted, bring that right knee down, whoop, and unwind, bringing both hands back down onto the mat. This time you're going to rock back, extending out your left leg, flexing your left foot. This time, see if you can bring that left hip back very slightly so that you're squaring both hips, flexing that left foot and bowing over that left leg, letting the head relax, the neck relax. Shoulders away from the ears. Getting a nice stretch in the back of the left leg. On the next breath, gently bring that left foot back down onto the mat. Bring both hands to frame that left foot. Tuck the right toes. Lift that right leg up. Use your core to bring your left foot back to meet your right foot and move through your vinyasa. And you get into your downward dog. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Nodding the head yes. Shaking the head no. And gently come back into child's pose for just a moment to pause, to reflect, to come back to that intention, whether that's to notice the passion in this moment or to honor our emotions, or perhaps your own intention that you set for practice. So taking this time to honor it all, not even mutually exclusive. We can honor all of those things at the same time. And on the next breath, I want you to actually slide down onto your belly, onto the mat. So we're going to be fully extended on our mats, on our bellies. Bring your hands down to either side of the mat and bring one ear down to the mat. So I wish I could tell you that we're just resting right now, but this is actually a pause in between some ab workouts, some core workouts. So definitely take advantage of this moment. And on the next breath, bring your chin down to the mat. Bring your palms down next to your hips. So your palms are touching your mat, right next to your hips, arms at your side. Bring your feet together. Your heels are touching, your toes are touching. So you're gonna zip up your body like one long zipper. I want you to imagine like there is a mouse underneath your belly button. You're gonna hollow out that belly button, hugging the belly to the spine, engaging that core. Bringing your pubic bone down onto the mat. Inhale as you lift your arms up, lift your chest up, lift your legs up. In flying locust, Shalabhasana. Breathing here, protecting that mouse. Keep that core engaged, keep the gaze down. Breathing here for 5. Lift the hands higher. 4, lift the legs higher. 3, protect that mouse, engage that core. 2, lift everything higher. And 1, come all the way down, releasing one ear down to the mat, relaxing the hands, relaxing the legs. Keeping that breath moving. On the next breath, once again, bring the chin back down to the mat. Zip up the feet, one long zipper, palms down next to the hips. Hug that pubic bone on the mat, engage that core, hugging the belly to the spine. As we inhale everything back up, flying locust. Keep the gaze down, the arms are lifted, the legs are lifted, the chest is lifted. Breathing here for 5. 4, lift the arms higher. 3, lift the legs higher. 2, keep that breath moving. And 1, bring everything down, bringing one ear down to the mat, relaxing the arms, relaxing the legs. So we'll have a chance in the next asana to do a bit more of a challenge, but no matter what, we are going to hold our locust for 10 breaths. So just to prepare you, you can do it. It's the last yang exercise that we have of class today. So let's make this our fullest one that we can. Bring your chin down onto the mat. Zip up the legs, one long zipper, palms down next to the hips. Engage that core, hugging the belly towards the spine. Hug that pubic bone down into the mat. Inhale everything up. Option to stay here or bring the arms out in front of you, Superman locust. Breathing here for 10. 9, keep the gaze down. 8, lift the arms higher. 7, lift the legs higher. 6, keep that breath moving. 5, 4, lift the arms higher. 3, lift the legs higher. You got this, you're so close. 2, 1, lift everything higher. And come all the way down, bringing everything down. Use your hands to very gently bring yourself back into child's pose. Getting a nice counter stretch for the back. Bringing the forehead down to the mat. Great job, everybody. Maybe even rocking the whole body left and right, relaxing the forehead, maybe rocking the forehead left and right. And on the next breath, very gently roll up one vertebra at a time. When you get to the top, shrug the shoulders up to the ears and back down. So let's kick our hips off to one side, bringing our legs out in front of us. So I'll face the camera for this. This is a great time to bring any props near you. So blanket, pillows, bolsters, blocks, whatever you have near you, great time to grab all those as we start the yin part of our practice. Flex the feet in front of you, both legs in front of you. Raise the arms to frame the ears. Inhale the crown of the head up to the sky. Exhale as you forward fold. Letting your hands fall where they may, letting your head and neck relax. It's okay to bend the knees as much as feels good. Also, great time to place a pillow or a blanket onto your legs if you want to fold onto something comfortable and cushy. Making this as restorative as you need in your practice today. And we're going to have many more moments of stillness in the remainder of practice, moments of inactivity, moments where we're just being. So how can we find ways to cultivate passion in these moments? And if we don't feel like we can cultivate passion in that moment, how can we just honor what comes up? Any emotion that comes up. How can we be human beings right now instead of human doings? Pausing is just as important as doing. Resting is just as important as waking. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the mouth, separating the teeth, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. There's no need to do right now. How can we just be right now? Slowly start to roll up one vertebra at a time. When you get to the top, shrug the shoulders up to the ears and back down. All right, so for this next two sets of asanas, which is going to be pigeon, gently swing your legs back behind you so you're on your knees, and gently make your way back into a downward dog. Okay, so I promise we're not going to stay too long in this downward dog. It's just going to help us prep. Float that right leg up to the sky. Shift forward, bringing that right knee forward and placing that right knee down on the mat. Okay, so you're placing that right knee down. Untuck the left toes and let that left leg be extended behind you. For some of you, it may feel good to have a pillow or a blanket in front of you, something that you can lay down on. For some of you, it may also feel good to have something underneath that right hip if it's lifted too far up from the mat. This is all optional, whatever feels good to you in this moment. Wherever you are, puffing the pigeon, opening up the heart to the sky, and then exhaling as we come all the way down, letting our hands stretch out in front of us, letting the forehead come down to the ground. So we're working into our right hip flexor here, opening up the hips. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the teeth. And how can we just let ourselves relax right now? At least for me, I just noticed that my legs were tensing like a lot, right? So we often hold tension way more than we think that we hold it. So scan the body right now. Where are you actually clenching? Where are you actually tensing right now that doesn't really need to be tense? How can you kind of sink in and be in the body instead of forcing the body right now to contract? How can you honor what emotions are coming up right now? And slowly start to bring the hands back towards the body. Slowly, slowly rising up. And to gently get out of this side of pigeon, tuck the left toes, lift that left knee up, and just gently make your way back into a downward dog. For some of you, it may feel good to float that right leg up to the sky and open up that right hip by bending that right leg. And then bring that right foot back down onto the mat, getting ready for the other side of pigeon. Floating that left leg up to the sky. Shift forward, bringing your right knee towards that left hand and placing your left knee towards that left hand, placing your left knee down on the mat. This time letting your right leg extend behind you. Untucking the toes. Getting whatever props you need to feel comfortable in your pigeon near you. And then when you're ready, puffing that pigeon by opening up the heart to the sky, and then exhaling as you lower all the way down, letting your hands extend out in front of you, letting the forehead come down to the ground. And knowing that it's okay if this side feels different than the other side, that's perfectly normal. Honor that. Honor that this side feels different. And it's okay that this side feels different. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, relaxing the jaw, separating the teeth. And doing a quick body scan. Where are you clenching right now? Where are you tensing that you don't need to tense in this moment? How can you just relax and receive and just be in this moment? And slowly start to bring the hands back to the body, rising up. And to safely get out of pigeon, tuck those right toes, lift that right knee up, and very gently make your way back into a downward dog. It may feel good for some of you to lift that left leg high towards the sky and bend that left knee, opening up that left hip. A nice counter stretch. And then bring that left foot back down onto the mat. Come onto your hands and your knees. Take a quick moment to make a pit stop in child's pose, bringing your forehead down to the ground, arms out in front of you. And then gently, gently roll up one vertebra at a time. When you get to the top, shrug the shoulders up to the ears and back down. Kick your hips off to one side, scoot yourself halfway up the mat, and come all the way down onto your back. When you're on your back, stretch the arms up overhead, growing really tall, stretch the legs out in front of you. And then squeeze the knees into the body, giving yourself a tight squeeze, maybe even rocking left and right, massaging the spine. Feel free to even move your knees in circles if that feels good to you. Going in one direction and then circling in the other direction. And then come back to center. Hold on to your left knee and extend down your right leg, coming into Apanasana. Squeezing that left knee into the midline, or if you still want to continue more hip opening, then you're going to bring that left knee out towards the left armpit. Feel free to move that left knee in circles if that feels good for you. Opening up that hip joint, which we worked quite a bit in today. So just loosening it up. And bring that left knee to stillness. We're just going to do a very quick spinal twist. We're not going to stay super long in the spinal twist. Transfer that left knee into your right hand and just gently swing that left knee over to the right side of your body. Float that left arm up to the sky. Peel that left shoulder blade down. So the chest and the shoulders are facing the sky. You can use that right hand to gently bear weight on that left knee, or feel free to just let that left knee or naturally bend over as it is. So whatever feels good to you in this moment. We're not forcing anything to happen right now. We're just being, we're receiving. Getting a nice spinal twist, which is really good for releasing excess heat. And emotionally, spinal twists are known to release any anger, release any hot feelings in our body, anger, irritability. So it also has a dual purpose in that way. Cooling us down, releasing that heat in the form of temperature heat, physical heat, but also emotional heat. For those who are following my Ayurveda, this is a very good asana for Pitta. We have Pitta dominance. On the next breath, gently bring both feet back down onto the mat. Just simply lift the hips for one moment to neutralize the spine. Lower the hips back down. Once again, squeeze both knees into the body, rocking left and right, massaging the spine. This time, hold on to your right leg, extend down your left leg, squeezing your right leg into the midline or out towards the right armpit for more of a hip opener. Feel free to move that right knee in circles to open up that hip joint. And this time, transfer your right knee into your left hand as you swing that right knee over to the left side of your body. This time, we're floating the right arm up to the sky, peeling that right shoulder blade down onto the mat. So letting our right knee just naturally twist over, or you can gently use your left hand to bear some weight. Tuning into the body. Keeping that breath moving, relaxing into the spine. And gently bring both feet back down to the center of the mat. Push into your feet, lift your hips up for just one moment to neutralize the spine, and then lower the hips back down. We're actually going to do a bridge pose here, speaking of lifting our hips. So keep your knees bent towards the sky, but bring your heels back enough towards your body that your fingertips can graze your heels. So your fingertips should be able to touch the backs of your heels. And then relax your shoulders away from the ears. Make sure that your feet are hips width apart as well. Inhale as you lift the hips up and subsequently lift up one vertebra at a time. Keep your head where it is facing the sky. Do not turn the neck here. We're keeping the cervical spine safe. Lift your hips high, coming into bridge pose. For some of you, you may be able to interlace the hands underneath the seat and come onto your shoulders to deepen the bridge. Wherever you are, keeping that breath moving, imagining there's a string on your belly button that is being moved up towards the sky. Really root down into those feet, square those knees. Notice if the knees are flaying out, square the knees. Squeeze up even further, breathing here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If the hands are clasped, gently unclasp the hands, lowering each vertebra down one at a time. One last squeeze of the knees into the body, rocking left and right, massaging the spine. And then opening up into happy baby, grabbing the outsides of both legs, grabbing both big toes, both outsides of your feet, bringing the knees down towards the body. Feel free to keep rocking left and right if that feels good to you. And then doing any last movements that you need for your practice or coming down into the final pose of Shavasana. Grabbing any blankets, any pillows, any props that feel good to you, eye mask, sweater, whatever feels good, grabbing that and coming down into the final pose of Shavasana. And in Shavasana, honoring what comes up, honoring what emotions come up. We're not judging or labeling what comes up as good or bad, right or wrong. We're simply just acknowledging, honoring, accepting what comes up. The more that we're able to do this, the more that we are able to find what lights us up, find what our passions are in life. Expressing passion and gratitude will guide your life. Say it again and again. Say it until you believe it. Say it until you live it. Slowly start to deepen the breath. Bringing movement into the body. Wiggling the fingers. Wiggling the toes. Stretching the arms up overhead. Stretching the legs out in front of you. And then rolling over onto either side into a fetal position, taking a moment to collect the breath here. And then when you're ready, coming back onto the mat in a comfortable seated position, either on the edge of a block or a blanket or just simply on the mat. Keeping the eyes closed or a soft gaze in front of you, bringing both palms together at the heart in Anjali Mudra. Bowing the chin to the fingers, bowing the head down. Giving gratitude to ourselves for showing up to our yoga practice this evening. Giving gratitude to our mind, our body, our breath, for all that these connected parts of us do for us in every moment. And giving gratitude to those in our lives that show up for us. And focusing on the heart space in this moment, opening up the heart as wide as we have room for today by showing compassion and love towards our community, our neighbors, our city, perhaps our whole state. If we have more room in the heart, spreading this wider to our country, to our whole world, perhaps to our whole universe. Showing love and gratitude and compassion for all those beings out there right now that are helping one another survive. We're all doing the best we can. And taking this moment to honor your intention for your practice this evening, reminding yourself of why you showed up on the yoga mat this evening. May you be able to find passion in life, even in little moments. May you be able to honor your emotions as they come up. Knowing that our intentions don't just stay on the yoga mat, they leave with us once we get off our yoga mat and into our everyday lives. The yoga practice does not stop here. It is a continuing journey, gratefully so. I thank each and every one of you for coming to practice with me this evening. It is always an honor to share this practice with you. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday evening. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. And also special announcement, I'm starting a new class that will be this Tuesday. The first one will be this Tuesday called Lunar Flow. So it is a part yoga, part intention setting journaling workshop where we do moon salutations instead of sun salutations. And then we also do some intention setting and breath work and meditation in the second part of class. So check out my website, theexpandinglotus.com, to register for these classes. It is completely donation optional. Just show up and we can just be a community together. And this will be on the new moon and the full moon each month. So check my website, my calendar for more details and the dates. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of the evening, especially on Instagram. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope to see you again in the future. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.